I stood there in the doorway of our tiny apartment, the rain pounding against the window like it was trying to break in. My heart stopped for a second. She was wearing my shirt, and nothing else. Her bare legs crossed on the bed, the oversized fabric draping over her like a secret we both knew too well. But her eyes, they weren't filled with the warmth I remembered. They were red-rimmed, tears streaming down her face as she clutched a crumpled letter in her hand. "Jake," she whispered, her voice breaking, "we need to talk." And just like that, everything I thought I knew about us shattered. What had I done? Or worse, what hadn't I? But to understand how we got here, I have to take you back to the beginning. It all started 3 years ago, in a crowded coffee shop on a crisp autumn morning. I was Jake Thompson, a 28-year-old graphic designer buried in deadlines and loneliness after a messy breakup. My ex had left me feeling like I'd never trust anyone again, cheated on, lied to, works. I was nursing a black coffee, staring at my laptop screen, when she walked in. Emily. She had this effortless grace, her auburn hair tied in a messy bun, wearing a vintage band tee and jeans that looked like they'd seen better days. She ordered a latte with an extra shot, and as she waited, our eyes met across the room. It wasn't love at first sight, not quite, but there was a spark, something that made me forget my screen for a moment. She sat at the table next to mine, fumbling with her phone, and I overheard her muttering about a job interview gone wrong. "Stupid questions," she said under her breath. I chuckled without thinking, and she turned to me with a raised eyebrow. "You think that's funny?" she asked, but there was a smile tugging at her lips. We started talking about bad interviews, dream jobs, and how life throws curveballs when you least expect it. Turns out, Emily was 26, an aspiring writer working odd jobs to pay the bills. She had this fire in her, a passion for stories that made the world feel bigger. By the time our coffees were cold, I had her number. It felt easy, natural, like we'd known each other forever. Our first date was at a local park, picnicking under the falling leaves. I brought sandwiches, she brought a blanket and a book of poetry. We laughed about our childhood's, mine in a small town where everyone knew your business, hers in the city with parents who pushed her too hard. I always felt like I had to prove something, she confessed, head on my shoulder. Like if I didn't succeed, I'd disappear. I opened up too, about how my ex's betrayal had left me guarded, afraid to let anyone in. But with Emily, the walls came down. That night, as we watched the sunset, she kissed me first, soft, tentative, but full of promise. It was the start of something real. We fell into a rhythm quickly. Weekends were ours, movie marathons, late-night drives, cooking disasters that ended in takeout. Emily moved in with me after 6 months, boxes of books and notebooks filling the shelves. She inspired me. My designs got bolder, more creative. I supported her writing, reading her drafts, and cheering her on through rejections. But life wasn't perfect. Emily's parents were distant, critical. They didn't approve of her starving artist path or me, the unambitious freelancer. It stung her deeply, those phone calls that left her in tears. I'd hold her, whispering that she was enough, that we were enough. Then came the first big challenge. About a year in, I lost my biggest client. Freelance work dried up, and bills piled high. I became withdrawn, snapping at little things, burying myself in job hunts. Emily tried to help, picking up extra shifts at a bookstore, but I pushed her away, feeling like a failure. One night, it exploded. "Why won't you let me in?" she yelled, tears in her eyes. "We're supposed to be a team." I stormed out, walking the streets in the cold, regretting every word. When I came back, she was asleep on the couch, my shirt draped over her like a shield. I knelt beside her, apologizing until she woke. We talked all night about fears, vulnerabilities. It brought us closer. I learned to lean on her, and she taught me that love means sharing the load. We resolved it by creating a budget together, and slowly, work picked up. It was our first real test, and we passed. But challenges kept coming. Emily's writing dreams hit a wall. She poured her soul into a novel, a story about a woman finding her voice after loss. Inspired by her own struggles with self-doubt. Agents rejected it left and right. "It's not marketable," they'd say. She spiraled, questioning her talent, her worth. I'd find her staring at blank pages, defeated. "Maybe I should just give up," she'd whisper. I refused to let her. I surprised her with a writing retreat weekend, just us in a cabin, where she revised and reignited her passion. "You see things in me I can't," she said. hugging me tight. That support paid off. She self-published the book, and it gained a small but loyal following. Readers messaged her, saying her words changed them. It was a resolution born from persistence, showing her that dreams don't die easily. As our relationship deepened, so did the intimacy. Mornings waking up tangled in sheets, her wearing my shirt after lazy nights. Those moments felt sacred. But beneath it all, old wounds lingered. My trust issues resurfaced when Emily started networking events for her writing. She'd come home late, buzzing with excitement about new connections. Jealousy crept in, irrational but real. "Who was that guy you mentioned?" I'd ask, trying to sound casual. It built tension, small arguments turning into bigger ones. One evening, after a particularly heated fight, she grabbed her keys. "I need space," she said, slamming the door. My heart raced. Was this the end? I paced the apartment, replaying every mistake. Hours later, she returned, eyes puffy. "I don't want to lose you," she admitted. We resolved it through therapy, a couples session where we unpacked my past betrayal and her fear of abandonment from her parents. It wasn't easy, but it strengthened us, teaching that love requires work, vulnerability. Time flew, and 2 years in, I planned to propose. I saved for a ring, simple but meaningful, with her birthstone. The night I intended to ask, we had dinner at our favorite spot, but as dessert came, her phone buzzed. A call from her agent. "They want my book," she screamed, jumping up. A publisher had offered a deal. Joy overflowed, but in the excitement, my proposal waited. We celebrated, and life accelerated. Her book tour loomed, meaning weeks apart. I was thrilled for her, but doubt whispered, would distance break us? The tour started, and that's when the second challenge hit hard. Emily traveled city to city, her star rising. Calls became texts, time zones clashing. I felt sidelined, my own career steady but unremarkable. Loneliness set in, and one night, after a long day, I confided in a coworker over drinks. It was innocent, but Emily heard about it through a mutual friend and misunderstood. "Are you seeing someone?" she accused over the phone, voice cracking. The fight escalated, accusations, hurt words. "Maybe we need a break," she said, hanging up. Cliffhanger. My world crumbled. Was this how it ended, over a misunderstanding? I couldn't let it. I booked a flight to her next stop, showing up at her hotel with flowers and the ring. "Sorry," I said, dropping to one knee. "I don't want a break, I want forever." Tears streamed as she said yes. We talked through it all. My insecurities, her fears of success pulling us apart. The resolution? We committed to better communication, scheduling video dates, supporting each other's growth. Her tour became our adventure. I joined for parts, turning pages together. Back home, married life was bliss. We honeymooned at a quiet beach town, building sandcastles and dreaming of the future. Emily's book climbed charts, and I landed a dream job at a design firm. But fate tested us again. 6 months ago, Emily started feeling off, fatigue, nausea. Doctor visits revealed the unthinkable, early-stage cancer. The word hit like a freight train. "How?" I whispered, holding her as she sobbed. Treatments loomed. Chemo, radiation, the works. She was scared. I was terrified. "What if I don't make it?" she'd ask in the dark. I became her rock, attending every appointment, researching options, cooking meals she could stomach. The battle was grueling. Hair loss, weakness. Watching her fade broke me. One night, after a rough session, she collapsed in the bathroom. I rushed in, helping her up, wrapping her in my arms. "I feel so ugly," she whispered, avoiding the mirror. I kissed her forehead. "You're the most beautiful person I know." We faced it together, support groups, family reconciliation. Her parents finally showed up, apologies in tow. Challenges mounted, financial strain from medical bills, emotional exhaustion. But resolutions came in small victories, clear scans, her strength returning. Emily channeled it into writing a memoir, turning pain into purpose. Which brings us back to that rainy night. I walked in, seeing her in my shirt, nothing else, tears flowing. The letter in her hand, test results. "It's gone," she said, voice trembling. Remission. Relief flooded me as I pulled her close. We'd survived the storm. Through it all, we learned that love isn't just the easy moments, it's fighting through the dark, choosing each other every day. It's about vulnerability, support, and never giving up. If you're watching this, remember, no matter the challenges, hold on. Your story can inspire too. If this touched you, hit that like button and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. Thanks for joining me.